What's up, YouTube? Today is February 24th, 2020. I don't want to say quick, because I said quick last time, and that video was 25 minutes long. So, I'll say we're going to do a video on why I bought a Harley. We'll start with that, because I just forgot my other topic. So we'll start with that. If I can remember it, we will come back to it. I'm going to head down to a town called Aubrey, Texas, to handle some business down there. Wow, I've never been in a traffic jam in my own neighborhood before. This is something special. Everybody just doesn't know what to do. Come on, we can do this, people. Come on. All right, out of it. So, how did I end up on a Harley? In high school, we'll start from the very beginning. In high school, I decided, you know what? I want a motorcycle. It's just something I wanted, and I didn't live too far from my school, and I really wanted to get a bike. And obviously my parents then were like, hell no, you're not doing that. You know, you're too young. So long story short, I ended up not getting one in high school. Well, years passed. I decided, I moved out and got married. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna get a motorcycle. And at first my wife was like, hell no. And I was like, yes, no. And I ended up going to get my motorcycle license. And then I was like, oh, well, you know, I need a motorcycle now because I got my license. And so she ended up being okay with it. So I started looking at motorcycles again and really actually looking to buy one at the time, not just looking to look. So I was originally looking at Hondas. I talked to some people that I knew that rode, and you know, they all recommended like a Honda VTX or something like that for first bike. And I'd kind of gotten out of the crotch rocket ninja phase of life, which you know, there's still cool bikes to ride and stuff, but I really wanted something I could just kind of cruise on. So I went for a cruiser. I knew that's what I wanted. I looked at some dual sport bikes because I really thought that'd be the bike I'd get. But I figured that I'd probably end up getting myself in some kind of trouble going off on somebody's private property up here and tearing it up. So I was like, no, I better not do that because we don't really have any public land here where you just go ride a dirt bike off-road. So I was like, you know what, I'll get a cruiser. So I ended up looking at cruisers. Was gonna get a Honda, and was looking at Hondas. One day while I was in town up here, I went to a business in town that sold cars, and there was a motorcycle sitting in the shop, specifically a Sportster 1200. I believe it was a 2013. And I was like, man, I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit, make sure y'all can see. I was like, man, that's a badass bike. So the guy in the shop was like, hey, you know, kind of gave me the rundown on it. It was low mileage, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I started looking at it real hard, wrote a bunch of stuff down, and got his phone number. And I left that day. Well, I called him later. I think he was asking, I don't know, $5,000 or something like that for it. It was a 2013 or 2014 Sportster 1200. So I called him later and said, hey, I'd like to come check that out, you know. And he's like, yeah, come on up. So I went up there and I test drove it through the neighborhood and around the car dealership. And something about it was just kind of weird. Like, I didn't know the shifter was real high, like, and I got the vibe that it may have been dropped now that I know more about the bikes. But at the time, I wasn't sure what was going on. I just realized the shifter was really high, trying to shift gears, and it's just a little strange. So I told him, I was like, let me do some research, and I asked him some more about it, if it had ever been dropped or anything, and he's like, no, not that I know of, and it belonged to like one person before me, and gave me the basic information on it. So I was like, you know what, let me do my own research, and I'll get back with you. He's like, okay. So later that day, I said, well, you know what, I'm gonna I'll go down to Harley Davidson dealership, and I'll ride a new Sportster, and I'll see if that's just the way they are, if that's how they shift, if that's how stuff's set up on them, and then I'll know. So I go down to my local Harley dealership on the way to go check out some Hondas, and I ended up talking to one of the salesmen, and he took me for a test drive on a 2016 Honda. Well, first we went on a 2019 Harley Sportster 1200, and I was like, it's like, yeah, it's way different than what I rode up there where I live. The bike that I rode, yeah, it's way different, way better, obviously newer. But I told him I wouldn't want to spend a lot of money on a new bike. I didn't want to buy a new bike, especially for my first bike. So I asked him if he had anything used. So we went to the back, and he had he said, yeah, I think I got something back here. So we go to the back of the shop, and he's got a 2016 Harley 1200 Sportster. It's a 48. Had the peanut tank on it. Had everything was pretty much factory except for the hand grips were aftermarket, and had I think that's it. That was aftermarket. I think everything else was pretty much factory. So I sat on it, and I was like, man, this is really comfortable, and it looks cool and stuff. And we went for a test drive on it, and I really liked it. So I was like, you know what? Let's see what we can do on this one. It wasn't too. It was more than I planned on spending, but I kept thinking back to something that my instructor in my motorcycle academy, when I did a riding course, said. People were asking him what kind of bikes were best, and he's like, really, I mean, it's just personal preference. He's like, me personally, I went with a Harley because I like to take road trips. He's like, and anywhere you go, there's going to be a Harley dealership pretty close. So if anything happens, you're going to be able to get your bike to a Harley dealership within a reasonable amount of time, generally. That's going to be the most populated and most, what's the word? Not popular brand, but most, populated. I don't know a good way to say that, but it's just they're everywhere pretty much. So I was like, I started thinking about that. It's like, that's kind of a good point. I've seen Honda dealerships here and there, but it seems like every town you go to, every major town has a Harley dealership, or 2 or 3. So I kept thinking about what my instructor that day said when I was at the Harley dealership getting ready to buy the Sportster. I was pretty much already set on it. I really loved it. But I kept thinking about what he said about, how there's Harley dealerships everywhere, and that really, really, really influenced my decision. So I ended up closing the deal, and they got it cleaned up for me in a couple days, and I went and got it. And that's how I ended up with a Harley, the Sportster. Well, wait a minute though, I'm riding a fat boy, right? So, it's another story. A couple months went by, I rode the Sportster, I would say for maybe a month or 2. I rode that Sportster everywhere, I mean all over. Love that thing, really fun. I kind of touched on the story in my last video, but I ended up doing some rides with buddies that went into Oklahoma, and I was the guy that had to stop and fill up every 2 miles or whatever. And it seemed like it wasn't that bad, but it seemed like forever. Every couple miles I was having to fill up, and I want to say it's probably around 130 or something like that. I don't know. It got good gas mileage when it's just a small tank. So I'd have to be the one filling up, and these other guys were on, we're on cruisers, Honda, and VTX and Yamaha V-Star and stuff. So I was like, man, I hate doing this. And also, my other complaint on that bike was if you're driving on the highway and a car goes by you, the wind is pushing you, me anyway, it would move me over in my lane. And I just driving around town through a city, if you're living near the DFW area and you just go into Dallas to hang out or whatever, bar hop or whatever you do, the Sportster's perfect. But me, I'm right at 6 foot, 5'11", if you want to be, a stickler maybe, or honest, depending on how you look at it. I ride at about 5'11", 6 foot, and I weigh about 250. So me on that bike just looked funky, because I was kind of big for that bike. But it was a good starter bike, and so I rode it for a few months and decided I wanted to try the finer side of life. So I went down to Harley, and I think I was there on just there on one of their little days where they do parties and stuff, and I went down there looking around, and I found a Dyna. Can't even tell you what year, don't get me lying. I think it was a Dyna Fat Bob or something. I checked that out, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I was like, I'm kind of interested in this bike. So he's like, okay, let's go for a test drive. So I went for a test drive, and it just wasn't, I didn't feel it. It was cool and all, but I was like, eh. So I ended up leaving that day, and the next day I went home and was looking at their website, because at that time Harley was doing a trade thing where if you just bought a Sportster, you could trade it in for a new bike, or not a new bike, but a larger bike. And so I ended up going back home that day and got on the website where they list all their bikes and started looking at all the bikes they had. So not all of them were out at the time when I was there. And I found the 2016 Harley Davidson Fat Boy S. And I was like, man, that is cool. I really like the bike. So a couple days later I went up there and he pulled it out for me and I test drove it. And I was like, man, I knew my opinion was going to be warped because I'd never ridden a larger bike, larger than a Sportster. So I didn't have the soft tail rear end where it cushions the bumps a little bit better and stuff. So I knew I was, my decision was going to be warped, but I really love the bike. So we ended up working up a deal that day, and I ended up leaving with it a couple days later. Good decision. I'm still happy with the bike. And the thing with these soft tails is there's so much you can do. Harleys in general have a huge aftermarket, have an aftermarket market. And there's just so much you can do to customize the bike any way that you want to have it done. Like, if you want saddlebags, there's a way to get saddlebags. If you want to turn your soft tail into a bagger, there's ways to turn it into a bagger. If you want different handlebars, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. There's just so much stuff you can do. So this is Lake Ray Roberts. Really can't tell you much about it other than that it is a lake in North Texas. I don't know how deep it is, nothing cool like that. I'll tell you that it's full of trees. As you can see over here, I'm trying to get hit by a car looking over. But yeah, it's full of trees. Pretty good sized lake. Man, that's pretty. I'm just happy that it's sunny today. I can actually, not have to wear a jacket. It's a little, I think it's 60, probably 62 out here. So it's still, when you get in the wind, it's still pretty cool, but when you stop, it's not bad. So the next portion of this video was uploading to YouTube. So if you watch my last video, you will see that I did that video on February 19th. And it was not uploaded until the 23rd or 22nd of February. Reason being is, I made the video one day, I edited it that night, and then I went to upload it to YouTube, and I, not knowing what I was doing, clicked Well, the first night it was all about trying to get the video edited right and everything. I got that done. And then it was trying to save all my clips on my computer, because it's a Mac. We're using a MacBook. I'm using a MacBook Air, and trying to save all my clips, there wasn't enough room. So that night I was like, well, it's not getting done tonight. So the next day I ended up going to Best Buy and bought a hard drive so I could keep all my vlogs on, and went and got one of those. And then I was able to put my videos on the hard drive. People pass it on the right, and I'm glad I didn't get over to do that, because I'd have gotten clobbered. That white car decided to just come up right to my right, and luckily I looked in my mirror before I tried to hop over to go around. Anyways, so I got a hard drive, put all my stuff on there, put all my different videos and whatnot on there, and I was able to get it all on there. So then as I went to upload it to YouTube, it wouldn't let me upload. I went to upload it, and it took literally I let it sit overnight, and I woke up the next morning and it was like at, I don't even know, 40% or something like that. Literally 8 hours, and it was only at 40%. I was like, there's something wrong. So I wasn't able to get to it that day. Finally, I did some research and found that .mov files, which is what Mac produces, or iMovie that I use to edit, they can be slow on YouTube because they're such, I guess the quality is really good of them, but you know, it takes forever to upload them on YouTube because of the quality. So I ended up downloading a video converter. This was after, oh, mind you, oh, okay, yeah, come on, yeah, come across. Jeez, man. This is after I deleted my video on accident the first time. So that was a whole, I think the second product was better. The second finished product, when I had to redo the whole video. And I don't mean like re-ride my motorcycle and re-talk. It was just like re-edit. Because I still had the files, the videos saved on my camera, on the GoPro. So I ended up having to re-edit the video and put everything back in, and you know, it wasn't a super complicated video, so that didn't take me super long, but I ended up downloading a video converter later and changed the file to an MP4, which evidently is what YouTube, I don't want to say prefers, but I guess they use. It's more compatible than a .mov. So when I converted to an MP4, I dropped it back on the hard drive, went to YouTube, clicked upload, and started doing my thumbnail and everything, and tags and whatnot, and literally uploaded in like 6 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you kidding me? That's all it took? Because I thought it was like, I was really thinking it was like my upload speeds for my internet. So I was like, maybe that's what's doing it, you know? My internet's not like super fancy, so I figured that was probably what the deal was, you know? No, it's just the file that didn't like my file I was using. So that's literally all it was. I could not believe it, and I'm glad that's all it was, but I was very surprised that that's what it was. So anyways, I got the file uploaded, and now we're rolling. I can start pushing out videos, get them edited. Now that I know what to do, that was the biggest thing, was figuring out how to get my content to YouTube from the Mac, because I'm a Windows guy. I've never used Mac, but I know that Mac, in my home, the Mac computer is my wife's, but it's way better than my Windows computer. My Windows computer is nothing fancy. It's not. It's the Mac is, when you compare it to editing videos and stuff, the Mac is superb to my Windows. But compared to ease of use, I think Windows is easier. That's probably because I've been raised on Windows. I've used Windows my whole life, so I'm sure that's why I think that way. But that's just my personal opinion. So I had to pretty much learn how to use the Mac, the editing software and whatnot, and then learn how to save all the stuff to a hard drive that I had to buy, and then figure out how to upload it to YouTube after I did all the work of editing and stuff. And so it was a long process, but I'm glad that I finally figured out what I need to do. That way I can get my videos put out hopefully the day of or the day after I get them completed. It's like these days are deceivingly nice. You're like, oh man, it's sunny and stuff, you can get out, go to ride, and then the wind is just freaking, I mean, look at the flag. It's just windy. I don't know what the gusts are, but especially on the bite, super windy. I'm not sure why we're doing 45 and a 55, but you know, oh well. I don't have to be anywhere quick, so just kind of drives me crazy a little bit. I saw online the other day that they made a Fat Boy 30th anniversary. Man, that thing looks cool. Yeah, it's pretty sick. I think my next bike will probably end up being a touring package, and that's gonna be a while. You know, I'm gonna ride this bike for as long as I can, obviously, but I really enjoy going longer distances. I mean, especially if I can get a touring bike, I can definitely take longer trips. And I know that's kind of it's one of those things that, well, you say people travel miles and miles and miles on a Sportster. Yeah, you know, that's doable. Just, I know after this bike, my wife is kind of starting to get into wanting to, I want to say, she's getting into wanting to ride with me more. And this bike it works, but it's not as comfortable for her on longer trips. And, you know, it doesn't have a whole lot of storage on it. Now, if I could get, like, a set of bags, and I know people cringe when you say putting bags on a Fat Boy, but it's better than, it's easier for me than buying a Road King or something else to try and upgrade or whatever. And that may be one of my next bikes, I don't know. It's going to really depend on what I'm feeling at the time, but I think it'll definitely probably be in the touring class. Apparently the Heritage Softail is now in the touring class for the 2020 Harley Davidsons. So, and I never knew this, but I was watching Maxwell's channel the other day. He mentioned that the biggest difference between touring and the other models is that the forks are reversed. So rather than the forks, you can see right here being connected right here at this spot, they actually like sit closer to the frame goes inside the forks, and that's why it helps them straighten up and stuff. That's why they're so much better in a straight, you know, driving down the highway. They correct themselves better, I guess. I've never ridden a touring, so I really don't know. I need to go test drive one, but I'm afraid if I do that, I'm gonna end up wanting to buy one. And there's really no reason for me to buy one at the moment. It's just gonna make me want one more. I really like the Road Kings, but again, I think I'll end up getting something that has a touring package on it. That way my wife can really enjoy a longer ride, and you know, because now, you know, I have a Mustang Trooper seat, and she, it's not too bad, you know, but I think if we took a pretty long trip, it would, it ended up being uncomfortable. Alright, YouTube, this is the town I'm trying to get to, so I'm going to go up here and handle some stuff I need to handle. I will get back to y'all in my next video. Thanks for watching.